Okay, my name is Jason Strom. We'll get started in just a minute here. I want to see, we're going to give a few minutes, give a few seconds here for the attendees to log in or to sign in, and then we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to get started. I don't see any more attendees jumping in. Uh, okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar to get started with myPATH. I'm Jason Strom. I work at the Penn West Clarion SBDC, Small Business Development Center. Today's webinar is the first of the 4 webinars in our 2024 tax series training events. The Pennsylvania SBDC network is partnering with the PA Department of Revenue to provide training to answer some of the questions you might have as business owners, especially related to tax. So today we'll be discussing how to get started with the Department of Revenue's self-service portal. It's called myPATH. That's the acronym they use for it, the pet name they use for it. We'll cover what type of profile users should be creating, as well as how to successfully register, gain access to both personal and business-related accounts, and explain what the features are available through the portal, both as a logged-in user as well as not logged in. Okay, just the reminders. Following today's webinar, you'll receive all the presentation material. Our webinar series flyers and recording of the webinar will be available as well. All participants have been muted and video disabled, so if you have any questions, there's 2 approaches for you to take. The first is if it's a question, here's more of the 4 series that you can see there. If it's a question for the experts at the state regarding tax, use the Q&A section. They have a couple of staff members available that they're going to be responding immediately or nearly immediately whenever you pose those questions. If it's not specific to today's webinar, if it's related to you wanting to become a client of the SBDC itself or have a question about what we offer, that you can use in the chat feature, and I'll respond to that the best I can as fast as I can. Most of the time what we see is the questions are actually tax related or business related for the Q&A section. And like I said, there's a couple of experts from the state here. They're going to answer those questions as quickly as they can. Okay, so just to give you a quick introduction, the Small Business Development Center, which I work at in Clarion, PA, there's 15 of us across the state. Everywhere the state owns, there's an SBDC networks center for you to work with. We do one-on-one business consulting. It's no charge. Your last year's taxes are paying this year's salary, if you think of it that way. And it's confidential for the most part. There's some things we report, but for the most part, when we work with clients, it's almost all exclusively confidential. We assist small businesses that are for profit. It can't be a nonprofit or a not-for-profit. And they have to be small businesses, which is qualified underneath 500 employees or less. We also offer trainings throughout the state. There's a link in this page here for that. And then we also do research for clients as well. As you can see, we cover the entire state. There is a total of 15 centers to choose from when you're working, and it's region-based. So whatever county you're in, that's the center you're connected with. If you want to sign up as a client, here's the link. And then primarily, typically the contact for these trainings is our director. Her name is Cindy Nellis, and her contact information is listed here. Okay, I want to introduce you to Stephanie Schreck, and I'm going to stop sharing and let Stephanie go ahead and take over.
Thank you, Jason. Good afternoon, everyone. As Jason mentioned, my name is Stephanie Schreck, and I am a research analyst with the Customer Outreach Relations and Engagement Division within the Customer Experience Center here at the Department of Revenue. We have created this module to help you all understand how to get started with myPATH, which is our new customer service portal, and to talk to you about what self-service options are out there. So just one moment. Okay. So this slide shows our agenda for today. You can see we will cover a quick overview of our modernization project. Next, I'll explain what non-logged in functions are out there. Means what you can do without creating a profile. And then we will talk through the additional functions that are available if you do set up your profile with a username or password. Finally, we will wrap it up with some resources should you have any questions after today's presentation. For those of you who do not know, the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue completed a tax system modernization project over the past few years. This project was broken into 5 rollouts, but the ultimate goal was to have a single tax system to seamlessly administer Pennsylvania tax accounts. In addition, the department wanted a single place for our customers to access their tax accounts and perform self-service options. Prior to this project, we had several standalone systems and we had a PIT e-services as well as the e-tides. So you can imagine that there was some issues getting one system to talk to another from time to time. But for this slide, it does show our first 4 rollouts. You can see in rollout 1 went live in January of 2019 with the implementation of motor and alternative fuel taxes, also our IFTA tax, and we wanted to keep the first rollout small to kind of get our feet wet and build up to our bigger rollouts. Rollout 2 occurred in October of 2019. This rollout included inheritance tax, realty transfer tax, medical marijuana, and also our voluntary disclosure program. Rollout 3 was our biggest rollout. This one went live in November of 2020, and this included our personal income tax, pass-through entities, and also our property tax rent rebate program. And rollout 4 that occurred in August of 2021. And this implementation of 6 different tax programs, all of which they had their own standalone systems, but some of those that were included were the cigarette non-participating manufacturer, cigarette stamp tax, tavern games, and 2 special corp taxes, the agriculture cooperative and the electric cooperative tax. And finally, rollout 5, which happened in November of 2022. If you were in business prior to this date, this is the one that impacted you the most as a business owner. During this rollout, we transitioned our business taxes, which includes employer withholding, sales tax, corporation tax, and any remaining miscellaneous taxes into our new system. Additionally, this rollout did replace e-tides, which was the previous filing and payment system for business taxpayers. This means that customers now have to use myPATH to file and pay their business tax returns. If customers are unable to file or pay via myPATH, we do have a service available to submit these returns and payments by the telephone. However, it is important to note that customers who want to use the system will be required to submit a telefile request form. The only exceptions to be able to use this service is granted for religious or technical reasons, such as no access to an internet or computer. If you would like to learn more about this service, please refer to our website or contact the Customer Experience Center at 717-787-1064 to obtain a telefile request form. All right, so business registration has changed as well. myPATH also replaced the previous online PA 100, meaning Pennsylvania businesses that need to register for their business tax accounts have a new online system to complete the process. The new myPATH registration includes registration for all tax types that were included in the previous PA 100 application. It also includes the ability to register for corporate net income tax, corporation specialty taxes, and other withholding taxes, which is new. You can view a full list by clicking on the link to the Pennsylvania Online Business Tax Registration from the myPATH homepage. Please be aware that you still need to contact the Department of State if you are registering a corporation to secure a corporate name clearance and register for corporation tax purposes. Additionally, the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue and the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry do share this application, but unemployment compensation must still be paid directly to the Department of Labor and Industry. So we've referenced myPATH many times, so let's take a look at our customer portal. We are going to approach this conversation by separating it into non-logged in versus logged in functions. When we refer to non-logged in functions, we are referring to things that you can do without creating a username and password. To access the customer portal, you will need to visit mypath.pa.gov, which will take you directly to the myPATH homepage. This screen shows you what the homepage looks like. For the first part, the non-logged in functions, you will want to scroll past the black login box and to view the panels that contain hyperlinks below. So the first panel we'll highlight is our payments panel. You can see here that you can make payments, you can track payments and credits, and you can also get information about how to set up a payment plan. I will warn you that most of the logged in functionality is tailored to individual tax customers. A lot of the business tax transactions do require you to log in, but you did have to log in for eTides to perform those functions, so the department decided to keep that all the same. I would say as a business tax customer, you would most likely visit this panel to pay a bill as long as you would have your letter ID. You will be able to pay your bills without logging in or track your payments and credits. Tracking payments and credits will be extremely valuable to business tax customers who want to see what payments or tax credits they have out there. And lastly, the set up a payment plan will give you some general information regarding our terms and conditions, but it will require you to log in to actually establish the payment plan with the department. Okay. Next, we do have our returns panel. And this is where you'll go to file a specific form. As you see here, this is where you go to file a personal income tax. We now have the option of filing a personal income tax in Spanish. We do have how to file business tax returns link. But again, most of the business tax functionality is logged in, so it will prompt you to do that to proceed. This is, we do have the option for filing a use tax return. And then finally, this is where you would go to verify any 1099-G or 1099-INT information regarding any overpayments or interest that you have received from the department. Okay. So the next panel is our registration panel, which I mentioned before. One thing I do want to mention is that this option is for those businesses who do not have a tax account registered with the Department of Revenue. If you are an existing entity who is just trying to add additional tax accounts, there is an option to do that while logged in, which we will cover later on. However, if you are brand new and just getting started, you will use the Pennsylvania Online Business Tax Registration hyperlink right on the homepage. Once that is completed, you will receive a confirmation code, which you can use to create your myPATH profile or even check the status of your registration. Additionally, we have a brand new feature, which is the nonprofit sales tax application and checking the status of that. This is essentially the form REV 72. Again, only nonprofit organizations should be using this. If you are a for-profit entity, you will want to use the REV 1220 if trying to receive an exemption for any reason that is currently not available on the portal. All right, up next, we have our rebates panel, and this is where you would go to file for the property tax rent rebate program and also to be able to check the status. Like returns, we do strongly encourage taxpayers and rebate applicants to submit their forms electronically. The reason for it is because we do have automatic calculators that help reduce mathematical errors. You can attach supporting documents directly to your return or application. And then, of course, this is by far the quickest way to get those forms to the department for processing. Our refunds panel, this is where you would go to be able to check the status of your personal income tax refund. To use this, you would need to have the tax year, the refund amount, and the social security number of the primary taxpayer that is listed on the return. Okay. We do also have an identity verification panel. This is used anytime the department wants to verify that a taxpayer or a return is legitimate to help prevent any identity theft or fraud, refund fraud. From time to time, the department may send out 2 forms of ID verification notices to a taxpayer. They will either be requested to take an ID verification quiz, which includes answering questions pertaining to them, or they will be given a code in a letter that is specific directly to them. In both instances, they will need to go to the ID verification panel and click on the appropriate link and follow the instructions. Oops. If you would receive one of these notices, please do not panic. There are several different things that can trigger the notice, and the department is just trying to take precautionary measures when we are sending these notices out to our taxpayers. And then we also have our additional services panel, and this is one of the most important panels that we do have on our homepage. Our first hyperlink here is responding to a letter. This is the best way to contact the department. If you do receive a notice asking for additional information. When you would click on this hyperlink, you would simply be able to upload the documents directly there. You would just use your letter ID from the notice and also the EIN or social security number attached to the customer. So that way it gets posted to the correct account. We also have a find a submission option. And you would use this option to be able to check the status of a payment, or for personal income tax customers who have started a return but saved it to be able to finish it later. And to do this, you would just simply need to enter the email address and the confirmation code that was provided at the end of the transaction. We have a link to our tax due dates. This will show you when a return is due, depending on the account type, filing frequency information, and period start and end dates. You can also obtain copies of W-2Gs. We have a penalty and interest calculator. And then we also have an option to be able to track an inheritance tax return here as well. Unfortunately, inheritance tax returns still have to be filed with the Register of Wills, but again, you would be able to check the status here. And then lastly, we do have a tax compliance panel. This houses the option to pay off a lien, request a corporate lien certificate, or respond to contact information needed notice. If you are not familiar with a corporate lien certificate, it is a document issued by the Department of Revenue, which reflects corporation tax liabilities for the named entity. A lien certificate is not a substitute for a corporate tax clearance or bulk sale clearance certificate. However, if this is something that you need to acquire, please be aware that there is a $2 fee associated, which does still need to be mailed into the department. Okay. And we do have a Learn More panel. This panel links for resources that we will go over near the end of the presentation. But just to touch base on them, we do have a myPATH video tutorials, which are our Revenue 411 instructional videos that walk you through some functions on myPATH. We have a link to our customer service center. This will take you directly to our online customer service center where you can view thousands of FAQs. We have a link for tax forms and instructions. And we also have the Contact Us link, which will provide you contact information that includes phone numbers, district office information, mailing addresses, and more. All right. So now let's talk about the logged in functions. As I mentioned, most business tax functions are only available to logged in customers. The first thing you will need to do is to create a primary user profile. To create a primary user profile, you will simply come to the homepage and in the black login box, click the hyperlink that says sign up. You will see a screen showing you what you can do without signing up, what additional options are available if you do sign up, and what criteria you need to successfully create your profile. On this page, you will need to either click sign up for myPATH or next. Okay. You will see the electronic correspondence and communications agreement. Please read through the terms and conditions and check the box saying you agree and then click next to continue. Okay. You will need to fill in your profile information, phone number information, and then you would need to select no to being a third-party professional in the identification panel. After selecting no, you will need to choose an identification type. You will have the option to choose from your federal EIN, your PATH ID, revenue ID, or even social security number. I would assume that most new business owners will be selecting the EIN or social security number. For our example today, we will enter the EIN number. Once you have selected the federal employer ID from the dropdown and enter the appropriate ID number on the line, you will need to enter the business name exactly as it is for the department's records. As a word of advice, this should be the legal name of the business. I believe eTides was driven by the doing business as name, but that is not the case for myPATH. Additionally, if an entity is a sole prop, you will simply enter the last name on the line and then click next to proceed. The next screen that you are presented with is the account validation. Here you will need to choose the account type that you are trying to gain access to. One thing to keep in mind about myPATH is everything is driven by tax type. So you will need to add access to each tax account, which we will talk about more a little later on. If you have more than one tax account, select the one that you are able to validate easily to get started. For our example, we requested corporate net income tax. Then you will see it asks to select an account validation method. The methods include a letter ID, an online business registration confirmation number, a payment amount, or even a return line item. If you cannot validate using the methods outlined, you will need to request an access letter in order to gain access to your account. For our example, we selected the return line item, entered the exact amount on the line provided. After completing the necessary fields, myPATH will ask if you would like to opt in for electronic mail delivery. Choose the option that you would like and click Submit at the bottom of the screen. Right. And once that is done, you will receive a confirmation screen. This will advise you to now log in with your new username and password. By clicking OK on the confirmation page, this will take you directly back to the home page. And in the black login box is where you can enter your new username and password and then click the login option. Right. Now you will be setting up your two-step verification action. For this example, we are going to use the text message option. And you'll enter the phone number that you would like your authentication code to be sent to and then hit save. Please keep in mind this does not need to be the same number you used to create your profile. For example, if you used your business number to create the profile, but you want your security code sent to your cell phone, you would simply just enter your cell phone number in this field. Okay. So after entering your phone number and being sent your code, you would enter the code here, and then you would hit the confirm button. Right? So now it's time for you to enter your first and last name, as well as select a secret question and an answer. Additionally, you have an option to add a secondary number or even set up due date reminders, but this is not a requirement. And after you have clicked saved, you will be logged into your user profile and you're going to immediately see the summary tab. The first item on the summary tab will be the tax account that you validated. If you remember, we chose corporate net income, so that is why I can see all of those details. But if you look beneath that, you can see I have additional tax accounts, but I need to actually add access to this account before I can perform any transactions for those tax types. All right. So you will need to choose the type of account of access or access level that you want for each additional tax account. File returns and make payments are always going to be the highest level of access. I would personally recommend that you choose that since you are the primary account owner so that you can see and do whatever you need to. Please keep in mind that you will need to add access to the license accounts as well. So that if you are adding access to something like a sales tax license, you will only be able to add view only access. And this is because you don't actually file or pay under the license account. That is actually done under the sales use and hotel occupancy tax account. And once this is set up, you will click the save and you will then see that tax type added to your summary tab. All right. So how to request a statement of account? Once you are logged into your user profile, you will click on the More tab at the top of the screen. And once on the More tab area, you will go to the Accounts panel. And you will simply click the hyperlink, Request a Statement of Account. From here, you will be able to select which tax accounts that you would like included on your statement of account. For our example, we are going to request the employer annual reconciliation and the other income annual reconciliation, and then you would hit submit. You will then receive a confirmation screen advising you that your statements are available in the letters section of your profile. Click OK to be routed back to your profile page to access the letter panel. So after clicking OK on the confirmation screen, you will return to the More tab. And to locate, and you would simply scroll down to the letters panel. From there, you will select the View Letters hyperlink. And your requested statement of account will be in your inbox. Just simply click on the bold name and the letter in the type column to open the letter. Your statement of account will open, which then you will be able to either print or save to your computer. How to send messages. Once you're logged into your account, you would go to the More tab, and you would go to the Message panel. Once on the Message panel, you would simply click the Send a Message hyperlink. And then you will be taken to a new screen, which is where you would need to select the appropriate hyperlink depending on the type of question. If your question is specific to a client, you would click the hyperlink with the client's information. Otherwise, if it is a general taxability question, you would select the first hyperlink. In this example, we are going to select the client-specific detail hyperlink. Again, if it is a generic question regarding your client's account, please select the first link. All of the following links will be account detailed depending on what they are requesting for or what returns have been filed. For our example today, we are going to select sales and use tax. Okay. You will then need to select either the period that your question pertains to, or again, if it is a general question, you would select the first link. For our example, we are going to select the period that ends in December 31st, 2021. Okay. So next you'll need to fill out a subject for your message and then the actual message itself. If you do have any documents that you would like to be included with your message, you can simply add them by clicking the Add button in the attachment section there on the bottom right. Once you've had your subject, your message, and everything completed, to be able to submit the message, you would just simply click Submit. And after clicking Submit, you will receive a confirmation. The confirmation will let you know that that message was sent to us successfully. And you will receive notification once we have responded back to this inquiry. Okay. So next, let's discuss how to request a payment plan on myPATH. So again, once you are logged into your user profile, you are again going to return to the More panel, and you're going to go to the panel labeled Payments and Returns. And from this panel, we are going to simply select the Request a Payment Plan hyperlink. And then we will then receive the terms and conditions. After you have read the terms and conditions, you're going to simply click the Next button. If you are not eligible for a payment plan, you will receive an error message explaining that you are not able to set up a payment plan at this time and why. For some reasons may include that there are no balances that will qualify for a payment plan, there's already a payment plan in place, or your client is in a bankruptcy status, or there are missing returns that are past their filing due date. You will then need to fill in your banking information. This will include the bank account type, your routing number, and of course your account number. If any balances listed here have no under the column of in collections, you will only be able to request a 6-month or less payment plan. If all indicators show yes under the in collections column and the total of the balances is less than 50,000, the payment plan will be able to be requested for up to 24 months. If the total balance is over 50,000, regardless of the yes or no status, you will only have the option of a 3-month payment plan. A down payment is optional and will not count as being the first installment that is needed to be made within 30 days. If you do opt to do a down payment, the system will ask you to select a date for this payment. You will need to select the date of the first payment, which must be within 30 days of the day that you're setting up the payment plan request. You will then need to put in the number of payments you are looking to make. An important note here, you will receive an error and will not be able to continue if you do not select a first installment date within 30 days and a number of payments that is allowed, depending on the stage of the balances. Okay, so since the balance I'm requesting a payment plan on is under 41,000 and had a yes indicator, I am able to set up a payment plan for the maximum of 24 payments. Okay. In this example here, you can see that I tried to request more than 24 payments, and it did receive an error advising me I've exceeded the maximum amount of payments allowed. When this happens, an additional hyperlink appears for requesting an extended payment plan. By clicking that link, it will provide additional information on how to contact Customer Experience Center regarding a longer term payment plan and what information will be needed to complete this review with the Customer Experience Center. Okay. So if you are not setting up a payment plan outside of the department standard options, you will then need to confirm the previously entered information, review the payment plan schedule that is automatically generated based on the information you provided. You will also need to select yes or no if you would like to receive notices regarding the plan and that you agree to the conditions. And then you would hit submit. You will receive a confirmation number. Please make sure to read the wording in the confirmation statement. Any any payment plan that is submitted that is longer than 12 months will have to be reviewed by the payment plan unit supervisor to see if it will be approved. If the payment plan is denied or there are any additional questions, someone from the payment plan unit will contact you. So let's go over some resources that are available. We have been continuously publishing our modernization updates and our tax update newsletter. If you have not done so, we do strongly recommend that you sign up to receive these updates. You can sign up by visiting the revenue website and click the register now link under sign up for updates. We are also updating the myPATH information page often, so I would definitely take a look at what is out there pertaining to rollout 5 if you are curious. We have also created a vanity URL, which is revenue.pa.gov/mypath information to help get customers to this page. Okay. So as I mentioned a few slides ago, we are creating what we call Revenue 411 videos to help our customers navigate through myPATH. This is something that you could easily share with your clients if they are having difficulties using the new portal. In the future, we are hoping to have more than just myPATH videos, but we are trying to make this transition as painless as possible. So we are putting all of our resources into myPATH at this time. Okay. And as you can see on the screen, the vanity URL is revenue.pa.gov/videos, or you can simply click the video icon on the gray icon belt located in the center of our site. Right. We also have Pathfinder in our myPath system. For those of you who do not know, this is a chatbot feature that you can access anywhere within myPath. It is always located in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Pathfinder is truly a virtual assistant who is trained to handle myPath specific questions. So you won't be able to ask taxability questions. It's just questions associated with using the myPath system. All right. With the implementation of myPath, we have a new option called Support ID. This is very important to go over, especially if you do need to contact the Customer Experience Center due to having issues. By providing a support ID to a customer service agent, we will be able to actually view your screen and assist you moving forward within whatever issue that you might be having. So this is a fantastic feature. So again, if you would ever need any assistance, having this number and providing it to a customer service agent will help us provide better customer service and get you where you need to be. Okay. Are there any questions?
Thanks so much, Steph. It looks like we've answered all of the questions that were out there in chat. I do think we're finishing a couple minutes early, so if anybody has any questions about myPath, please feel free to type them out there. We can either answer them out loud or get you some answers back in the chat feature. Jason, did you have any closing remarks that you wanted to make before we wrapped it up today?
Sure, just a couple of thank yous. Thanks for participating in today's event, everyone. We wanted to again thank Stephanie and the rest of the crew from the state to make sure that we're picking up on this. I took a few notes myself. I appreciate the work that your team down at the state's doing on this. You'll receive a follow-up email from us within the next business day or two, I'm assuming. That'll have the slides from today, some additional resources, and links to sign up in case you want to become a client of the SBDC. You also receive a request to complete a survey. Please do complete it. It helps us quite a bit. Take a few minutes to finish it, fill it in if you could. And that's it. Outside of that, have a great day. It's raining in Western PA. Hopefully it's not raining in Eastern PA. And otherwise, if there's any final questions, I guess we have a few minutes if we need to, but if I don't see anything within a few seconds here, I guess we'll wrap up. We do have one more question, yeah. Oh, thanks, Tammy. All right, Stephanie, thanks again for your assistance today.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.